Hello everyone, this is Dr. R. Tulasiram, Associate Professor, Department of Social Sciences, Faculty of Agricultural Sciences, Bharat Institute of Higher Education and Research, Chennai. Today the topic of discussion is cost concepts and its importance in managing a farm business. This particular lecture is coming under the course Farm Management, Production and Resource Economics. It is a course which comes for the third semester students of BSc Honors Agriculture. So this is a basic concepts, but this will have an impact on your overall farm business. So in this lecture, we'll be dealing with the definition of cost, the differences between cost, price, and value, and different types of cost concepts available. And with examples, we will discuss about each and every cost concepts. And finally, we will deal with the importance of these concepts in any farm business. And as agriculture student, we can compare these concepts with respect to agriculture business. And normally, if you see this concept, cost concept is very basic for all the business organizations, not only for agri business. Let us move on to the topic. First of all, before going deep into the topic, we should understand the concept of price, cost, and value. So when we differentiate these three things, it will be so clear what is cost. First of all, price is what you pay for any good or service that you get from the shop or from any person. So when you get it from a person as a service, it is services. When you get a product by giving a money, that is called price. And cost is the amount of inputs incurred in producing a product. That is clearly the expenditure. And value is what goods or service pay you. Okay, when you possess something, what value that gives you? Say, for example, when you try to sell the product that you possess now, that will yield you some money, and that is called as value. And here, cost is nothing but, as I said, it is nothing but expenditure. That is the money that we spend out of our pocket to produce any particular product. So it is otherwise called as capital expenditure, right? So before going deep into this lecture, let us know about the capital. So not all the money or capital. No, this money that can be included into capital, but capital is not only the money. Capital includes anything that in turn produces something, right? Say, for example, if you possess a coffee maker, that is capital. That gives you coffee. Again, it is a product, whole product that gives you coffee. If you take a tractor, that is a capital that gives you yield by cultivation practices. You can use tractor for cultivation practices, marketing, transportation, etc. So it is already a finished product that in turns give you a product that is called as capital. And this money is also can be included inside capital. But capital is not only money, it involves all the products that yields you, that helps you to produce something. As said, as an example, coffee maker, that is already a product that gives you a coffee. So now we will see the meaning and concept of this cost. So in line with the length of planning period, there are two major categories of cost, right? So in any business, when we incur money, that is the expenditure, there are majorly two types of cost. The first one is fixed cost. In short, it is called as capital FC. Fixed cost, as the name itself suggests, it is fixed for a period of time. There is no changes in this cost. So once it is given, it remains the same for a period of time. So you don't have any update. You are not going to increase it. You are not going to decrease it. No, it remains the same for some period of time. That is, fixed costs are those which would be incurred even if no output were produced. That is, I can tell you, you see the left-hand side picture, that is fixed assets. That is examples, land, building, machineries, equipments, etc. So here you can see vehicle, laptops, land, building, office, etc. So for this purpose, when you spend money, you will spend it only for one time normally. For 10 years at least, it remains fixed. It remains same. There is absolutely no differences. So when these fixed assets are present in a business, it doesn't mean that the business is running, isn't it? So when you have this land, building, machine, everything, When you don't have any raw materials, when you don't have laborers, when you don't have machines running, you cannot say that your business is in running condition. Okay, so fixed cost or cost you incur even without producing anything. You are not producing anything means still these things will exist. Land, it exists even though if you don't produce anything. Building, it will be there. It is fixed even though if you don't produce anything, it will be there. So example, as I said, land, building, machineries, etc. So this is called as fixed cost. Second one is variable cost. The name itself indicates it varies over a period of time. When it varies, when I want to produce a quantity of a product, accordingly, I need to invest some cost. That is variable cost. Say, for example, if I want to produce 1,000 kilogram of any product, I need to put money accordingly. I have to spend money accordingly. If I want to increase that quantity to 2,000, I need to incur more money now. If I want to reduce that to 500 kg, I need to reduce the cost now. So with respect to the quantity of production, this variable cost keeps on varying. Say, for example, if you want to cultivate 1 acre of land of paddy with paddy, so you need to sow approximately 5 kg of seeds. If you want to go for 2 acres, you need to sow 10 kg. You are increasing the expenditure. So it varies according to the quantity of production. Okay, so examples are expenses on fertilizers, seeds, chemical, fuel consumption, etc. Right? So these expenditures, when the scale of production keep on increasing, this cost, the cost that you incur for this purpose also keeps on increasing. So one of the best examples for variable cost is raw materials. So the cost on raw materials, the cost that we spend on raw materials, it keeps on changing with respect to the level of production. So as I said, in the left hand side, you can see the fixed assets, right? So if you, you just take this in the opposite way, no? If you keep these fixed assets as idle, that is, if it is not running position, still you need to incur some cost for this maintenance, building, land, etc. But if you want to tell that your business is in a running condition, you need to have these raw materials, chemicals, seeds, labors, etc. So then only you can tell that it is in running conditions. So that is why this raw materials that decides the running and non-running conditions of a business. So that is why it is called as running cost. It is the major cost in any business, because if you put raw material only, you can get your product. So it is called as direct cost. Directly it relates to the production, and it is very important, and that is why it is called as prime cost. So direct cost, prime cost. So all these things are, running cost, operating cost. Why? Because when you have raw materials, then only you can tell your business is in operation. Your business is in running. Your business is working. So it is otherwise called as working cost. The money that you spend, the expenditure that we make on raw materials, laborers, fertilizers, and other inputs to run the business cycle, it is called as operating cost, or prime cost, or direct cost, or working cost. So there are two major costs, that is fixed cost and variable cost. Right. There are several other types of cost. First one is total cost. Right. As I told you, fixed cost and variable cost. Fixed cost is money that you spend only one time. Variable cost is every business cycle. When you want to produce some quantity, you need to incur accordingly some variable cost. So when you add this fixed cost and variable cost, what you get is called total cost. That is, TC is equal to TFC, total fixed cost, plus total variable cost, TVC. And then the second cost is total variable cost. As I said, all the variable cost that is going out of your pocket. Okay, it represents the sum of expenditure on variable inputs for any level of output. And they are also called as short-run cost, because it changes during a short period of time. So first cycle, for 1 month, if you want to produce some 100 packets of whatever product, you will spend some input, that is variable cost. And second production cycle, if you want to increase or decrease the production, accordingly you will spend some money. So it varies in short period of time. That is why it is called as variable cost. The third one is, as we have already discussed, total fixed cost is incurred irrespective of output level. Whatever may be your output level, this is already that you made. This expenditure is already that you made for your business. It is fixed. So when you add this TFC plus TVC, it gives you TC. And next one is the marginal cost. In economic terms, marginal in the sense additional cost. So additional cost is nothing but when you want to produce one additional unit of output, right? If you are producing 10 kg of output now, if you want to produce 1 unit additional, that is 11 kg if you want to produce, for that additional 1 unit of output, how much additional cost that you are incurring? Okay, so previously we would have spent 20,000 for 10 kg. So now if you want to produce 11 kg, one additional unit, how much is getting increased apart from this 20,000 cost? That is called as marginal cost. Next one is average variable cost. So it is worked out by dividing total variable cost by amount of output. Say for example, if you are producing 10 tonnes by spending 20,000, you are spending 20,000 and you are getting 10 tonnes. This 20,000 is called as variable cost. Total variable cost is 20,000. And the quantity of output, amount of output that you are getting is 10 tonnes. So 20,000 and you are getting 10 tonnes. Now, if you want to take average variable cost, this 20,000 is the total variable cost. If you want to take average, it is very simple. You need to divide it by number of items. That is number of quantity. So when you divide this 20,000 by 10, what you get in average is called as the average cost of variable cost. Next one is average fixed cost. It is again the total fixed cost divided by total number of output. You would have spent 2 lakhs for land, 5 lakhs for building, and 5 lakhs for machineries. Totally, if it is approximately 20 lakhs fixed cost, and you are getting 10 tonnes. If you divide this 20 lakhs divided by 10 tonnes, what you get in average is called as average fixed cost. And in the same way, the next one is average total cost. That is the total cost that includes both fixed cost and variable cost. So what you can do, you can add this total fixed cost and total variable cost, and you can divide it by the total amount of output, total unit of output. So what you get is called the average cost incurred by the farmer to get 1 unit of output. Average means for 1 unit and total means for all the unit. So total cost to produce total output, and average cost means the money required to produce 1 unit of output. It is more like how we get average marks, 450 for 5 subjects. So for 1 subject, that is total marks, TM, and for 1 subject, average marks is 90 marks. That is for 1 unit, 1 subject. The same way we are taking average. Right. Just to summarize these cost concepts, the first one is total cost is equal to total fixed cost plus total variable cost, and average total cost is total cost plus number of output units, and total fixed cost is you need to add all the amount of expenditures that you make on fixed assets, and AFC is TFC plus number of units of that is you need to divide it, and total variable cost is total cost. You can subtract this total fixed cost from total cost. What you get is called total variable cost, or else you can simply take the sum of all the expenditure on variable cost. And average variable cost, you take the total variable cost and divide it by number of output units. And marginal cost, as I told you, when you want to produce 1 additional unit of any product, any commodity, how much additional money that you need to spend for that, that gives you the marginal cost, as marginal is otherwise called as additional. Right. So let us discuss the same cost concepts with respect to and with the help of their curves, how it behaves, what is the shape of that. First, you take fixed cost. Fixed cost, as I told you, before starting the business, before starting sales, please listen, before starting the sales itself, you would have incurred some money for fixed cost. Say, for example, before running your business, before running your machine, before employing some laborers, before putting some raw materials into the machines, you need to spend some money for few things. That few things is called as fixed assets. And the money that you spend for these assets are called as fixed cost. So before you start the sales zero, before you spend 1 variable cost, you would have spent a lot of fixed cost. And that is why it starts from the point yes. That is because initial investment or for the establishment of the business, say for example, you would have spent 20 lakhs for land, I mean combinedly land, machine, building, etc. So this 20 lakhs will remain the same throughout the business period for at least for some 10 years. So that is why up to that final point, yes, it remains the same as 20 lakhs. And variable cost, when you start to run your business, if you want to take output, you need to put some input raw materials. So it starts from 0 and it keeps on increasing. It flows up to the point M. So when you add this OMS and SS, OM and SS, you will get ST. That is total cost is equal to total fixed cost and also total variable cost. That is the money that you put for the fixed assets. And then if you want to run the business, the money that you put for the variable cost. So this combinedly will give you the total cost. So that is why it is called as TC is equal to FC plus BC. Total cost is equal to fixed cost plus variable cost. So when you want to consider a business as a whole, you need to have both fixed cost and variable cost. If you want to just establish the business, fixed cost is enough. If you want to consider only how the business is efficiently running, you need to consider only the variable cost and the accordingly what revenue that you get from variable cost. For every business cycle, if you put 50,000 and if you get 70,000, you get 20,000 extra. That is only gives you the present profit, but you don't consider here the fixed assets. Next, you see, I mean, other costs also we have discussed. First one is marginal cost. That is additional cost. That is, when you want to produce one additional unit of output, how much money that you spend extra. The second one is average cost. You please listen. At this point, you can see here, at this point, the business is still in starting position. That is, the sales revenue is so less. So when the total revenue is less, the average cost that you put for each and every revenue will be too high. So this y-axis is the cost. Say, for example, I can tell you when the total mark is less, the average mark will be, I mean, no, you cannot get more of a good average. Okay. So average mark will be very, very less. So what happens here? The sales is so less. So for every unit of output, you spend more and more money. When the sales get increased, this AC curve, average cost curve, it keep on getting down. Okay. That is, you are getting more and more of sales. So the average cost comes down. Okay. So if the 6 tonners, 7 tonners, 8 tonners, when it keeps on increasing, the money that you spend for each and every output that keeps on decreasing. After some time, you are utilizing the same soil, same seeds or whatever it is for a long period of time. So it becomes less fertile. And again, what happens? The yield will come down. So the revenue will come down. So the average cost will start to increase. So at some point of time, the cost will be more and the revenue will be less. So that time, as a businessman, you need to make adjustments in your business by going for any changes in your business plan. So this is average cost. And average variable cost, as I told you, it is the total variable cost divided by total units of outputs. Total variable cost divided by total units of output. And average fixed cost, it is total fixed cost divided by total amounts of total quantity of. So these are some of the other cost concepts. So that figure that we sent that shows AFC and AVC curves, the TFC being fixed for all units of output. Average fixed cost is falling in the shape of a rectangular hyperbola. And AVC is falling at first and then rises as there emerge the diseconomics of large production. By adding two costs, average fixed and average variable, we get the average cost. And by adding total cost, total fixed cost and total variable cost, you get total cost. At first, the average cost is high due to large fixed cost and small output. As I told you, here you get the output is too small. So at this point, the output is only 1 unit. So the output is too small and the average is also very, very high for that. For each and every unit, you spend more. So when the output gets increased over this curve, so the average will get decreased. So that is what mentioned here. As output increases, the fixed cost is thinly spread over the larger number of units produced. Then the average cost accordingly falls. At present, you would have taken only 1 tonners. For 1 tonners, the fixed cost is 20 lakhs. So 20 divided by 1, it will be more. So when this 1 tonners becomes 8, 10, etc., for 20 lakhs, you will get 10 tonners. So average cost will tends to fall. That is, for each and every unit of output, you are spending less and less average cost. The shape of the average cost curve is U shape because it is high at the top, at the front, and then it comes to, it decreases, and then again it tends to decreases. Okay, right. So marginal cost, it is the additional cost to the total cost caused by the small increment in output. As I told you, when you want to increase the output by 1 unit, what is the additional cost that we get? And marginal cost of also falls at first due to more efficient use of variable factors as output increases, and it slopes upward as further additions to the output interfere with the most efficient use of variable factors. Right. So the next one is opportunity cost. Opportunity cost, it is an important concept in economics. That is, when you have two alternatives, choice A and B, you can go either for A or B, right? But when you select A instead of B and you are going for this A business, here the opportunity cost of this A is what revenue that you have missed from choice B. Say, for example, if you are getting 30,000 revenue from choice A and 25,000 from choice B, by selecting choice A, what you lose now, you are losing the revenue that you would have got from choice B. What is it? 25. So that is opportunity cost. Here, for selecting choice A, the opportunity cost is only 25,000. But if you have selected choice B instead of choice A, if you have selected maize for paddy, you'd have got only 25,000. But whereas choice B, you'd have got 30,000. So the opportunity cost of selecting choice B is 30,000. It is found to be high. Right? That is why they call it as the returns from next best alternative forgone. What returns that you miss from the next best alternative. Okay, so next best alternative for A is B, and if you choose B, the next best alternative for B is A, right? So say, for example, if you consider a job as a person, you can go to work or you can skip the work. When you skip the work, the revenue that you get from going to work, it is your opportunity cost. If it is very low, your opportunity cost is less. If it is very high, the revenue that you get from job work, then the opportunity cost is too high. So this is one cost. The next one is sunk cost. The name itself clearly explains you. Sunk means no, it is just gets emerged. That is, once it is given, it cannot be recovered. It is sunk. So the costs that have already been incurred by past actions, they cannot be recovered. They are not relevant to future decisions. Okay, it is nowhere related to the future decisions. Okay, if you spend some $400 to replace a water pump, it is spent forever. Okay, so whatever you have done, that cannot be undone or redone here. So that is called as sunk cost. So the next one is explicit cost. The name itself tells you that, so this transaction that has a measurable cost to a firm, that is, you can see that, it is highly tangible. You can see that for which purpose you spend that money, for which purpose the farmers spend their money. So if they want to purchase a new asset, say for example, tractor, equipments, machineries, if they want to hire new workers, they need to pay them wages. They know how much money they transact, how much money they spend for that particular purpose. If they want to increase their quantity of production, they need to buy a new raw material. They need to purchase from the shops, input shops, for which they will spend some money. Okay, so these things that you can easily quantify how much money that you are spending and for what purpose exactly to which you spend your money. So that is called as explicit cost. Then implicit cost is nothing but a decision which leads to lower income but is not recorded on balance sheet. Because as I told you, in explicit cost, whatever you spend, you know the exact amount, you know the exact purpose for which you spend your money. But explicit cost, you can roughly know for which purpose you spend. Okay, but you will be taking a decision, okay, because you may leave your workers as free for a day. Okay, so if you leave them for a free for a day, there will be a drop in your sales. That is, no, you spend some money for them, but they don't work. If they don't work, means the efficiency of working production, no, it is very less. Okay, they have been misused. They are used less. So there will be a drop in sales, and if there is drop in sales, there will be drop in income, and automatically this will give an impact in the overall revenue, and this impact is because of a cost. And that cost is called as implicit cost, that you can never know for what purpose it has happened, and you don't note these things in your balance sheet. You cannot note like, no, I have given them 2 days off, or because of this I lose something like that. That and all you cannot tell. And this balance sheet is a terminology, that is, it is nothing but a financial statement that is being produced, that is being prepared by a farmer in every agricultural year. This agricultural year, it falls between July to June of every year. So every year, whatever assets that a farmer or businessman possesses, they need to make a note of everything in the form of a sheet. So that sheet is called as balance sheet, and that consists of 3 components in total. One is assets, another one is liabilities, and another one is net worth or equity. This assets that tells you the total value of all the assets possessed by the farmer, starting from land, building, raw materials available, fertilizers available, products, finished goods, which is ready for disposal or sale, etc. So the total value will be kept in the assets column. Even the cash in hand, documents that you are going to receive, the money that you gave to your neighbors that you are going to receive, everything is your asset, total value of asset. Liability is the money that you are liable to pay others. That is the loan amount, bank loan, friends loan, neighbor loan, money lender loan, etc. that you need to pay others. So for any farmers in any given year, the asset should be greater than the liability. The value of asset should be greater than the value of liability. When you subtract it, when you have more asset, then the net worth of a farmer is found to be positive. And if the asset is very less, the liability of the farmer, that is loan amount of the farmer, is too high, then the net worth or equity of the farmer is found to be negative. So to analyze the performance of a farmer, I'm telling you, it is not the performance of the business, this performance of the farmer, you need to follow this balance sheet financial statement, for which these implicit costs will not be included there, but whereas the explicit cost will be included very minutely in any balance sheet. Next one is recurring cost or non-recurring cost. First is recurring cost is repetitive, directs or indirects, which vary depending on the production. As I told you, right, directly involves most of the time. Okay, it is repetitive. When you keep on producing it, you keep on giving this recurring cost in terms of spending money for variable costs, raw materials, laborers. When you want to produce more, you hire more laborers, for which you pay more wages. That is, more wages if you pay means more cost, more expenditure. Right? If you want to run the machine for more period of time to produce more quantity, that means you will be spending extra amount for electricity charges. That is also cost, and these costs are called as recurring cost. It occurs daily, weekly, monthly, etc. Non-recurring is one-time expenses only. For one period of time, you will be spending it, and it remains the same. Normally for development, for investment, for the initial investment, establishment, you will be spending this money, and these money are paid only once, and for the rest of the business, at least for the next 10 years or 8 years, this remains the same. Why I'm telling only for 10 years this cost remains the same, the fixed cost? Sir, you told me that this fixed cost remains the same for a long period of time, but you are telling that only for a limited period of time, only 8 or 10 years. Why there is a restriction? Because not all the fixed costs will be fixed. Say for example, if I am conducting a business, okay, if I'm having a business, I'm running a business, for some 10 years of time, I can adjust with this 20 lakhs of fixed cost, land, building, machines, etc. After some time, when my business gets enlarged, when the scale of production keeps on increasing, I need to extend my business. I need to re-establish my business in some other branches also, some other areas also. For which I need to construct again, I need to buy a land, I need buildings, I need to buy machineries. So such time, this fixed cost will not remain same. There will be some improvement or addition of expenditures for this fixed cost. And that is why I told you, for some period of time, this fixed cost remains same, but the variable cost, that is non-recurring cost, it keeps on changing with, the variable cost, that is recurring cost, it keeps on changing with the level of production. Next one is incremental cost, that is additional cost or marginal cost. As I told you, with every increase in production by 1 unit, the incremental or additional cost associated with that is called as incremental cost. And some costs are fixed and other variable. The incremental cost will not be the same as the overall average cost per unit. Next one is the break-even and shutdown point. So the break-even point is the price at which a firm will break even. I will explain what it is. And the price at which a firm will shut down is called as shutdown point. Okay. So what is this break-even point? At break-even point, you can remember, you need to compare this price with the variable cost. You need to compare this price with the variable cost. So price is the price that you receive for one unit of output, and variable cost is the money that you spend for the same unit of output. Okay. If the price is equal to your revenue, that is you are getting what you have incurred. And if your revenue, the price, if the revenue is more than your cost that you incur, then you are getting more than what you spend. If the revenue is equal to your cost, that is you are spending 10 rupees and you are getting back 10 rupees, it is of no use. In such cases, the firm will shut down. In such cases, the firm will shut down. That is, they are producing something and for which they spend some required amount, 20 rupees. If they get only 20 or less than 20, it is of no use to continue the business again. Okay, so at that point of time, at least for a temporary period of time, the firm will shut down. So still the price that they receive is more in the market, they will be shut down. And when the price is more than the cost that they incur, they will keep closed. When it is more, they will again open the business. The shutdown will get released. So again, I'm telling you, for 1 unit of commodity, to produce it, if you are spending 10 rupees, that is cost, and the price or revenue, both are same for 1 unit. If it is more than 10 rupees, it is worthy to start and continue the business. If it is equal or less than the cost, 10 equal to 10 or 10 less than 10, then you need to shut down your business, and that is called as shutdown point. The second break-even point is, in any business or firm, the total revenue that the business receives, that must be equal to the total cost that they receive. That must be equal to the total cost they receive, right? So the total cost is equal to total revenue, means whatever money that they have spent, they have taken everything. So here the cost and return in that business, it is break even. Total cost spent in a business is equal to total revenue spent in the same business. So it is equal. At that particular point, there is no loss or no profit for the farmers, because they have spent 20 lakhs and they have taken 20 lakhs. They have spent 35,000 in their business and they have taken 35,000. So both are same. Total cost is equal to total revenue. At that point, no profit or no loss. Till that point, everything is lost, because they have not taken the total 20 lakhs. They are taking 1 lakh, 1 lakh, 1 lakh, 1 lakh. Initially, they have spent some 20 lakhs. So it will take some multiple years to get that 20 lakhs in their business. Until then, it is lost for them. After break even, where this total cost and total revenue are same, after that particular point, whatever that they are going to get will be profit. So the before break even point, it is loss, and after break even point, it is profit. Okay, so because of this cost only, we can decide the shutdown point or break even point. That is why in managing a farm business, we need to be very sure about the cost that we spend in our business. So because when you know the cost, exact cost only, then you can make some adjustments. Because the price is 10 means you are not supposed to spend 10 rupees for 1 unit of commodity. You have to spend less and less. That is why in production economics, they always tell any farmer, any businessman, any farm businessman, they look for cost minimization and profit maximization. Either they need to increase the price or accordingly the revenue. That is not in our hands, because the market price will be fixed by market power and also the government. But on the other side, cost minimization is there. As a farmer, we can easily reduce the cost that we incur in our business. When you reduce the cost, again, the total, the revenue will be more and the cost will be less. So there is absolutely no point in shutting down our business. When the cost is equal to revenue that we get, the price that we get, then we need to shut down, because there is no point of continuing our business, because you are spending 10, you are getting back 10. So what is the use of running this business? So this cost only will decide all these other things, other revenues, whether to continue our business or not, when we take up all the money that we spent so far. So everything is decided by managing the cost concepts. So I hope you all listen to this lecture, and I hope you like this lecture. In this class, we are dealing with different cost concepts and their impact in any farm business. So I hope you enjoy this lecture. We all will meet in some other future lectures. Until then, it is bye from Tulasi Ram. Thank you.